What is gaslighting? Is gaslighting an emotional abuse? How to tell if you're being gaslighted? And finally, how to deal with gaslighting. Let us see everything in this video today. Gaslighting is a type of psychological manipulation and emotional abuse in which a person or group causes someone to doubt their sanity, reality perception, or recollections. People who have been gaslighted frequently feel confused, apprehensive, and unwilling to trust themselves. Yes, gaslighting is a control method in which the victim is left in a fog of changed reality, questioning their own views and recollections. On the other hand, gaslighters control the relationship by causing instability and confusion in their victims. Now then comes the next question. Am I being gaslighted? So what actually comes under gaslighting? How do you know if you're being gaslighted? To be straight, there are a few techniques that factually come under gaslighting. So go through them and decide if your partner is doing any of them. Number 1, the straight-up lie gaslighting technique. The outright falsehood is a destructive gaslighting technique that is mostly used to conceal private behavior. Yes, the cheating partner may lie blithely about where he was, what he was doing, who he was with, or how much time he spent doing something, or where the money went. Number 2, manipulation of reality gaslighting technique. Reality manipulation may make you feel as though you're losing your mind slowly and inexorably. This is due to the fact that the cheating spouse is manipulating and attempting to weaken your capacity to discern what is true and to trust your memory and judgment. Number 3, scapegoating gaslighting technique. You can define scapegoating as the act or habit of transferring blame or failure on another in order to divert attention or responsibility away from oneself. Number 4, coercion gaslighting technique. Coercive conduct spans a spectrum that includes what I refer to as the charm offensive on one end of the spectrum and bullying or aggressive behavior on the other. Now let's move on to the main part of this video, how to deal with gaslighting. What are the things to gather and steps to follow to handle and expose gaslighting? Don't worry, you need to follow the 4-step procedure to perfectly handle and stop any gaslighter. Yes, one must follow my 4-step procedure to handle and deal with gaslighting. So what are these 4 steps? Step 1, ensuring that it is gaslighting. In reality, gaslighting evolves into a habit of manipulation that is repeated. In fact, sometimes we fail to spot gaslighting as mostly it begins slowly and other actions might sometimes appear similar. Moreover, the individual who is gaslighting you wants you to question yourself and rely on their interpretation of actuality. Thus, the first step of the 4-step procedure to handle and deal with gaslighting is to ensure whether you are being gaslighted or not. So how do you know if you're being gaslighted? Don't worry, here's a questionnaire you can ask yourself that can give clues that you are being emotionally abused by gaslighting. So, ask yourself, are you continually second-guessing yourself? Is it becoming tough for you to make basic decisions? Are you constantly questioning yourself if you are excessively sensitive? Are you constantly apologizing to the abusive individual? Are you unknowingly defending the abusive individual's actions? Are you lying to relatives and friends to avoid having to make excuses for them? Are you experiencing a sense of helplessness, dejection, unworthiness, or inadequacy? If you answer yes to at least 4 of these questions, then there is a huge chance that you're being gaslighted by a gaslighter. Now is step 2. Deal with gaslighting by keeping track of everything. Remember, documenting your encounters with someone attempting to gaslight you might help you keep track of what's going on. Thus, whenever they deny that a discussion or incident occurred, you may go back and verify the facts for yourself. So here are a few things you must follow for this. Maintain a secret diary. Keep a secret diary and take down the dates and times of all your discussions. This allows you to keep track of occurrences, including the date, time, and specifics of what occurred. Snapping pictures. This can help you as a fact check of your memories and remind you that you're not delusional. so take pictures of any damaged stuff. Also, text and email should be saved, and phone talk should be recorded. Keeping voice memos. Using a mobile phone or other gadget to narrate happenings is a simple way for you to capture something that just happened in your own words. So summarize your discussions, including direct quotations whenever feasible. Now, if you're still wondering what to actually gather and what to keep track of, then just go through those various types of gaslighting techniques that we discussed in the beginning of this video. Now, step 3, engage others and expose the gaslighter. You may be concerned that discussing the problem with others will cause drama. However, while dealing with gaslighting, it's critical to seek advice and assistance from individuals you can trust. Yes, seeking feedback from many individuals in your life will reaffirm your understanding that you're not confused, mad, or losing your memory. Moreover, someone attempting to utilize gaslighting methods will definitely find it more difficult to manipulate more than one individual. Also, when there is continuing gaslighting in relationships, try to avoid meeting with the individual alone whenever feasible. Yes, it's better to keep your contact to a minimum, but if you must meet with them, bring someone impartial and trustworthy with you, or ask them to listen in on the chat. Remember, you're not bringing them onto the side with you. You merely want them to observe what is going on. Finally, step 4, seek expert assistance and act now. Gaslighting may often become more intense and even violent. Thus, speaking with a therapist is usually an excellent place to start. Yes, as gaslighting has a huge influence on an individual, it's critical for those who have been gaslighted to take care of themselves. So set limits and exercise self-care to avoid being overwhelmed or increasing your worry. This is especially true if you're really nervous, as dealing with gaslighting may lead to rumination, which may worsen feelings of worry. While taking care of yourself, you also need to follow 6 practices while living with a gaslighter. Number 1, pay attention to your instincts. If you have a gut feeling that something isn't right for your relationship, don't disregard it. Number 2, don't be embarrassed. Because gaslighters are expert manipulators, anybody, regardless of IQ, may be dragged into their tactics. Number 3, recognize the red flags early. Gaslighting does not happen overnight. Instead, gaslighters constantly fool, deceive, and manipulate individuals in order to wear them down over time. Number 4, never ever believe the gaslighter's claims about your mental or emotional well-being. Number 5, wondering what happens when you expose and fight with a gaslighter? Gaslighters seldom back down and will usually seek vengeance if they are retaliated against. Thus, retaliate in no way. Number 6, make an effort not to respond every time. Gaslighters, like all bullies, are encouraged by their ability to get under your skin. So avoid acting scared or agitated if possible. Now finally it's time to act. In other words, leave. Yeah, just leave the gaslighter and cut any relationship with them forever. You can also devise a safety plan that includes strategies for protecting oneself against gaslighters after leaving a relationship. A safety plan may include safe havens, the names and phone numbers of persons who can be contacted for assistance, self-care actions that aid in coping, a strategy for safety exiting the harmful circumstance. Remember, it is critical for someone like you who lives with a gaslighter to keep any evidence in place. So keep your evidence safe, and these may be beneficial later on if you decide to take legal action against your gaslighter. Lastly, let me tell you one more thing. Gaslighting is a form of abuse in which someone is led to doubt oneself or believe that they are wrong. Gaslighting is frequent in abusive relationships, but it may happen in other settings as well. So take a deep breath and remember you are strong enough to protect yourself from this emotional abuse.